Hi guys, thanks for tuning in. This video was going to be an unboxing of this case. So it's all about the case really, but I done a video yesterday and I screwed it up, so I'm doing another thing. So what I'm going to do, because I've already done some work on it and then when I found the footage was bad, we're just going to talk about some of the things of this case, and then I'll also do some reviews. So this video is going to be like to the end result probably. Yeah, I'll probably do it like that. So the case itself is a Cougar Panzer G, and I'll leave a link where I bought this case from in the UK. It was about £89–90, something like that, including free delivery. Fantastic case. I'm really liking it so far. So let's have a look at what it comes with. It comes with glass panels, smoked glass. There's two there, if you can see. Sorry about the glare because it's really sunny and I can't do anything about it, so you just have to bear with it. So it comes with two panels, one for obviously that side and the other side, and then that's the top, and then that's the front case with the Cougar logo on. They all chamfered edges on these glass as well, so they've all been treated really good, so there's no problems there. That's the top piece. Now the case itself has got really good airflow, so this is where the top piece goes. It fits onto these brass inserts just like so, and there's little screws, little brass screws which you screw in, and they're actually on rubber as well, so they've got rubber on them and the touch rubber, so you're not touching metal on glass, anything like that. I'll probably leave it off because the airflow at the top is probably compromised a little bit. There's some gap here which is about 10mm. The glass goes flat against the grate, so there should be a great deal of airflow, so I don't think that's a good idea. We have got some slots in the sides for airflow, but I don't know, I'll see how it goes. I might do a smoke test, but I'd probably run it with it off because it's sat on my desk. It's quite high anyway, so it won't really bother me. But if you want that look, obviously you can leave it on. Same goes for the front. I'll just drag it around. So I've done a bit of a build on this, so you'll have to excuse that when I talk about it. Comes with three of these fans, these FR120s. I'm trying to buy more of these, but I haven't found anywhere that sells them. Well, I have found somewhere, but they're out of stock, because obviously I want to replace the ones I've put in. I put all them in. So it comes with three of them, and the illuminate red LEDs, so they're pretty good. There's the mounting brackets, or the mounting hubs for the glass. I'll probably leave the front one on because it looks a bit weird and a bit open, but I'll probably leave the front glass on, and then I'll take the top glass off. So it comes with that. Let's have a quick look. I'm working one-handed because it's just easier like this for me. Okay, it's got loads of space, loads of cable management tie-ups. So a couple of places for SSDs, there's two of them. One here, one there. I'll be having the two Samsungs just here. There's a place for a fan at the bottom, as you can see. I've put that one in. But you don't need to, you can also put a radiator in there as well, a 110. So you can have radiator and a fan, 110. Three fans over there. You can have a radiator front, radiator back. I decided to not have a radiator at the front, but I've got a 360 radiator at the top. I don't think you can see that. You can see that there. And then I've got three fans, three 120s pulling. These are Antec ones, but like I say, if I can buy them ones, I'd be a lot happier because they'll be the right colour. But I'll replace these later on. These are just to get the system working. So the SSDs go here. They come out with some screws, which is nice. Cable management goes through the back. There's nice some slots there. Also at the front. There's also at the back, which I'll show you when I turn it around. There's two more SSD covers. So you put another SSD here on the back side, and 3.5-inch drives on there if you want. I've gone a different route, so I've had to drill and tap and put a bolt in there, so these are bolted to the back of there, but it's also behind the plate, so you can't even see it anywhere. So or you could mount it to the radiator, or even mount it here. There's loads of options. The power supply is pretty much covered all in. The vents at the bottom, there's a vent here and a vent there at the bottom, so air is going to come in from the bottom and then out the back. That fan has drawn air in, this fan's going to push it along, so the power supply should get ample, and obviously this fan, the centre fan, is going to cool this bit down, and then the top fan is going to cool, obviously the top, it's going to cool this reservoir as well, since I've only got one 360 but a decent sized reservoir. Your graphics card is going to go somewhere about here. I've got this fan here for that because I'm water cooling the GPU, but I'm much going to use air for to cool the memory chips and stuff. And it was cooled by air anyway, so it's not a problem. And I couldn't really afford to buy the custom ones, so maybe later, I don't really know. And I've got a 120 exhaust at the back of here. You put a radiator on there as well if you wanted to. So you could have radiator 120 at the bottom, 360 up to 360 at the front, a 360 at the top, and a 120 there, and up to what, 3, 6, 7, 8. Now I've got 10 fans including the power supply fan. So far it looks really nice. As you can see, the motherboard cut out, nice big motherboard cut out for your brackets, but also it's stepped, so all your cables are just going to go around the back, and that's why I like this case, because everything's going to be tucked around the back and it should look quite neat. But it'll take ATX, it says ATX, but it takes a bit bigger, but anything bigger than that obviously is going to touch. And I'll leave you can go on the website as well, on their website, and check Cougar's website, and it gives you all the dimensions. Or I might stick up some pictures, I don't know. I've got my pump fixed here, so I might as well talk about that. I already had this pump, so I'm just using things I already had. I already had this, and if you look on the other case, I've pulled it all the bits because I'm just waiting for the graphics GPU block to pull all that out. So once I get all that took out, then I'll have a bit more space on there. This is an air cooled case, and I've made it into water cooled, but it's a bit of a, well, it's a nightmare. Well, it's been working for like a year, like that, not a problem, but it just doesn't look very nice. So I've decided to buy this to tidy it up a little bit, so I've got everything internally rather than radiators on the top. I've got radiators here. So I've had to 3D print a little block out because the gap, to keep this central, I just 3D printed this, which is like 20mm or 18mm block, so it's the pump base fits. I don't know you can see that, I'm trying to get, so it fits on there nice and straight, and it's all in. And I bought a couple of fittings. These fittings I'm using here, which are G1/4, which is the one there, and there's also one in between this. So that's them. If anyone's interested, I can give you where I bought them. And I've got a drain. I'd advise you to put a drain in. I'm waiting for a couple of caps coming, so I just put them rubber, stop any bits getting in. So I would definitely put a drain in. Lowest point you can, and that's my lowest point there. You could have it off there, but I thought that looked really neat. And then the fittings I'm using, so the loop's going to go from here to the graphics card, through the graphics card to the CPU, out the CPU, straight to this port here, and then obviously through the radiator, back out of this one, back in, and that's simple loop. There's my fill port, which I've got a cap coming. Yeah, and that's it really. If it needs more cooling, I'll probably stick another radiator here, probably. Hey guys, just thought you'd be interested in this. This is one of the radiators I was going to use on the build, a 110, and I found out that it's got a leak. Well, didn't have a leak, I caused the leak. These screw holes here, when I was putting the fan cover on, one of the screws is a little bit too long and it nicked the inside. I'll just point to it. See these channels? You've got channels running this way like this, like that. Well, half of them go that way and then half of them go that way. But these channels here, there must be like maybe about I would say 2mm. So the gap in it is tiny. So the screws, as it went through, it touched that and it caused a leak in the brass. On the other side, so if you can see that, this tab I bent back and it's on this one, so you won't have to see because it's really small, but in this corner you can't see. There's no point in trying to show you because you can't see, but just say it was there. It was a tiny little hole, and if you blow through the other vent, you can hear it coming out. It was a massive, it was about the same size as the tip of this. Probably say like 0.2 hole. Anyway, I just cleaned it because these are brass, copper fins and brass. So I just cleaned it up a little bit, a bit of flux on, and I used my heat gun to just get in there and just make sure you need flux. I was going to use some of this low melting point solder. I was going to use some of this, but I didn't really need to. So I was thinking if I was struggling to bond, I was going to use some of that, but I just used normal solder, electrical solder, and that's the flux I used. And now I need to test to see if it leaks. I mean, I'm thinking, should I really risk it? I mean, I'll tidy this up, I just need to bend it back into place, and I'll just run some more heat with a heat gun, and that'll solder it back to there. It won't be as pretty as that, but once I run a bit of black paint on, because this side is pretty good, it's pretty like new. Yeah, so what I need to do is pressure test it first. Now I don't have a pressure test for my system, which I need one anyway, because normally I'll just put the fluid in, and if it leaks, you've got to take it out and go through all the palaver. So what I've decided to do, I'll just put this out the road for a second. What I decided to do is make up something. I should have done a video of showing you, but I just want to get working. So what I've done is got myself a gauge. This gauge is an automotive gauge. It actually was on one of my cars, and it was went on the fuel pressure rail for the injectors, and it goes up to like, let's have a quick look. Goes up to 11 bar. So on a car you're looking at about 80, 90, 100 psi, something like that, which is got to be about 7 bar. So I use that. It's got fluid in it, just for the pressures, it doesn't damage it. So I picked up, well, I already had these two off something else. These are just off a computer, G1/4 fittings. As you can see, that went to there, and I just use a standard fitting to go on the radiator. There's nothing special there. I rummaged around and I found this little fitting here. I don't know what this is off. It's just got a box of old brass fittings, and I was G1/4 into there and G1/4 coming out, but I didn't have any way to have like a foot pump. I needed to like pump it up. So this is like a valve which I can lock it off, so I can pressurise it, turn it off, and I don't need a shredder valve in. I did try with a shredder valve, it didn't work. So what I've done is I just got this cap, took the shredder valve out, and I just soldered that on. Yeah, using the same technique. And I used only difference I used, instead of using a heat gun, I used one of these little flame, if I can get the light. Just use one of these to heat up the brass. They're just invaluable, to be honest, because I wanted to heat that brass up really hot, the two bits of brass, and I clamped it in a clamp, so they were clamped like this, and then I just ran some solder in, and obviously flux, use the same flux. So what I'm going to do now is, I just thought you'd want to see it, I'm going to pressure test the radiator. So let's make a bit of space, see whether this works or not. So how I'm going to do it is, I'll put some of these clamps on, these retention clamps, and we'll just pop that on. 10mm tubing, and this end I'm just going to stick a Sharpie in an old piece of, only because the Sharpie's got a nice round end. You could make something up, but I'm just trying it. It might pop off. I'm only going to put a bar in, 1 bar. If we can hold 1 bar, it's good enough to do what we need. So just put these spring clamps on. Okay, so it's on, and the one we're going to use to pump it up is just a foot pump, something like this, yeah. Let me just check the video. Yeah, you can see, okay. So I'll just do it by hand, to be honest. So I've took the valve out, so there's nothing stopping it. That should just clip onto there. Can I just move it so you can see? Okay, you might be able to see that. It's awkward for you, so there, you should see that. Should knock all my stuff off. So you can see the valve. This valve is open. Once I pressurise it, it shouldn't leak. Just trying to get it so you can see. There you go. Okay. Okay. There it is. Working. I'm going to put one bar in. I'm just going to go above one bar to 2, and then I'm going to turn the valve off, close the valve, and then I can take that off. Okay, so let me get this out of the road, and then we'll have a little look a bit closer. Hopefully you can see that. Let me set the video. You'll just have to trust me. So it's up to 2 bar now. I can leave it like that. I'm happy with that. If it can survive 2 bar, the working pressure in the computer is probably going to be half a bar. But we can let a bit more out if we want to, so we can let it down to 1. You see it? So they're coming down now. That's 21 psi. 20 psi. We're just going to stop at that 1 bar, or about 15 or something. It's not that accurate, this gauge, so I'm going to stop it just at, I can't really see. So what I'm going to do now is just leave that. And then I'm going to use this system for pressurising the full system. I'll show you that when I get it done. So I just thought you'd be interested in this, guys. It looks like it's working. What you could do if you did have a leak in some of the bits, you could put it like in your kitchen sink and have it under the water, and you'll get some bubbles. Or you could get like a soapy squirty bottle and just squirt around there. But there's no leaks there, I can tell. Come back an hour later, it should be the same. If it isn't, I've either got a little leak somewhere, but that's what I'm going to do to test the system before I put fluid in, and it's a lot safer. Yeah. Okay guys, hope you like this. I'll be back shortly. Okay guys, update time. So what I've done so far is I've been waiting for some parts, and I've got a water block coming today. Probably I'm expecting it any minute. So I'm going to be putting that in, and I need to lap it as well. I think I've mentioned what I've done here. So I've got the pump in, I've got 2 SSDs, there's 2 on the back. I have got another 110 radiator with a fan on, and a 360 up pushing out. So that's what I've done there. I've pulled the system apart. There it is there, just to show you. So that's the system I've pulled apart. Oh, see, I've got the radiator on the top and one on the back, old school, but I couldn't fit them inside. They've been working really good, a couple of radiators, so they are good. So that's what I've done there. There's all the parts I've pulled out. Sorry about the sun. So we've got obviously a reservoir pump. That pump there, which is a thermotic pump, has been running for, I've had at least in the system for 10 years. Yeah, so it's flawless, it's fantastic. I've got spare pumps over there and stuff, but I'm going to try this one. This one, I I don't know whether I've tried, I can't remember, I've had it for ages, but I'm going to try that one. Reservoir, same reservoir, I would recommend these were only cheap but they work fine. There's my power supply, which is a EVGA 750 GQ, and the back plate, all the screws out there. Motherboard, excuse the mess. So the motherboard I'm using is an FX based system. Zipper tooth, was that 990FX version 2 with USB boost 3, and I'm using Corsair Vengeance memory. And there's the water block. I'm going to water cool the rear graphics card just because I want to, and I want the noise, I want it to be quiet because it's sat just here and it's quite noisy. So I want to cool these VRMs down. So I'm going to do it because they get quite toasty. I know the motherboard's capable, but these get up to like, sometimes they can get up to 60 centigrade, which might seem okay, but I want them to be cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to 3D print a bracket, some sort of bracket to hold a fan. I'm going to get a couple of these 30mm, so just off 3D print and take 12 volts. I'm going to mount these somewhere, like one there maybe, and possibly one there. So what I'm going to do is I've took a picture as a reference, and I'm going to measure it now so I can have some sort of clip. So it'll still be skeletonized, so the air can still flow through, but there'll be a little bit of draft. So that's what I'm going to do so far. So next thing, I'm just going to pop this into the case, and then we'll come back when we've got that done. So back shortly. Right guys, so next step is I've got the motherboard in. As you can see, there's a back plate. I'll give it a good clean. I recommend blowing it all down, giving it a good clean out, and count all your fixing points. Make sure that they're all in. Yeah, make sure there's 9 on this one. So got an SSD. These are all 550s or 520s or something, 500s, half a gig. So there's a gig there. There's 2 at the front as a gig, and then it's 500 there. And then I've got this 2 terabyte, sorry. Manual drive, and I've got my power supply put in. Obviously the cable's not. What I'm going to do next, it's all looking pretty neat. I've got plenty of space to cable manage, loads of tie downs. What I'm going to do next is put the tubing in for the water cooling. This is the tubing I'm using if anyone's interested. It's like 12mm diameter. So yeah, it's great. I mean, a lot of people use clear, but I'm using green because that's just the only colour I use. There's the back if you're interested. It's all going in nice. Yeah, it's all looking pretty decent. Nice and clear parts, nice back plate, and I'll show you the front. So that is from the front. I haven't done a great deal. Like I said, the power supply's in, pumps in, 2 SSDs here, so there's a gig there. Sorry, 500 gig and 500 gig. Kept the 2 Samsungs, the drive C and drive K. That's a bit of sticky tape on this. I need to just get a bit of clear, alcohol to clean that off. Got this 110 I need to put in, and that's it so far. So all I need to do is do the graphics card, but the block hasn't come yet, so I'm expecting it to be delivered today. Once I get the block in, then I can run to, I'll probably go to the GPU, out the GPU to this radiator, from there to there, then from here to the top, and that's the loop done. So we'll pressure test it and we'll see if it all doesn't leak, and then we'll get it running. So back shortly. Okay guys, so I thought I'd show you the graphics card just before I put it in. This is the water block I'm using, obviously. It just came literally 20 minutes ago, so I've been lapping it and messing about. It didn't really, I used a razor blade on the edge and it was fine. It's only a small die anyway, so the die area is probably the size of my finger. So it doesn't need the full block lapping. So what I've done is I'm using some of these compression fittings, and I've put some heat sinks on It has got a back plate on, or a front plate, which helps cooling, and there's some heat tape underneath there. So I've stuck some of them on anyway. Looks pretty good. See, there's some tape under there. So that's going to go in now, and then we're going to pressurise the system and get some water in. That's what it looks like so far. I've done a bit of wiring, so I've got the fans wired in. 3 hard drives are wired up, or SSDs are wired up. I'm just waiting to obviously put the graphics card in now and the fluid, so that's what I'm going to do next, so back shortly. Hey guys, so I pressurised the system about 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago, and it held 2 bar, so which is well above what it needs, and now it's running. No leaks, I can't see any leaks anyway. I've just put some of this down, but just in case, but it seems to be okay. So what I'm going to do is let it run just off this power supply I've rigged up, and it's just cycling, getting rid of the air. I know it's not a tidy build, but it's the only way I could do it with. I might do a hardline one later on if I can be bothered, but yeah, I'm happy with that. It's there's the water block. If I can show you, it's hard to get, but it seems to be doing the job. We'll do some temps and things later on once it's up and running. I've still got some other peripherals to add, and the back needs tidying up. But yeah, once it's all working 100%, I get it. I'll be back shortly. So yeah, it seems to be good. Just get bleeding the air out of it. Right here at the top. This works pretty decent. I just pressurised it from here. It's a bit of a tight corner for that. Well, the lights, some angled, some ones you can adjust, some like flexible angles. But I had to use what I've got. Did decide to put this little radiator in, see how that goes, and we'll just check out some temperatures. But I had to do a bit of modding on this board because the heat block, the copper part, was like triangle shaped rather than square, so it wouldn't fit in for this cooling plate. So I had to cut the cooling plate a little bit and put some new stickies on. Well, you can see it there, but you won't see it anyway. So yeah, I've done that. So next thing is just when I put it back together, we'll do some temps. So back shortly. Pretty much finished. I've got a few little things I need to tidy up, but there's the finished result. Looks pretty okay. I am going to shorten this pipe a little bit so it goes a bit straighter, possibly like that, and do a few little tweaks, but just show you what it looks like. Took us about 3 hours to get it all done. The lights are a bit bright, so I've got some blue LEDs in there. So there's the fan blown up, so you get cool air blown up and then it gets shoved across. There's a good draft at the back for the power supply. Got me windows is on this one, spare drive there. You can't see, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4 drives at the back, 4 SSDs at the back. As you can see, there's all the cables for them. What else? Water coolant looks okay. I've got this fan blown over the memory chips on the board. There's a nice draft, but it's quiet, pretty quiet. I've got these fans up the top. There's 3 there, I don't know if you can see them, and a radiator there. These are on medium, but I could turn them up or turn them down. I've got the glass panel attached to the. One problem is this light seems brighter than them. I don't know why that is. I'm going to try to change the plugs to see whether. So I've got these 2 on a splitter and that one's on its own. So it's still the same voltage, it should be okay. You've got a hard drive light at the front, might flicker on again if I move the mouse. There you go. And then you've got a little LED at the top, reset button, USB 2, USB 3, microphone and such. And then what else is there? I think that's about it really. What I'm going to do is some temperatures at the moment. So what I'll do is I'll put the other camera on, but it's 37 CPU, and 37, they're both 37, so obviously it's the same loop, so they both equalise the same. It's very hot today. It's probably 28 degrees here, maybe 26, it's about that. But earlier on I was actually roasting. I'll do some checks at the moment, and I'll run some benchmarks and we'll have a look, see how that, but yeah, overall I think it looks pretty nice. I've got the side panel to go on. Yeah, looks okay. It's nice and quiet. When I put the side panel on, you can hardly hear it. There's the pump, and I need to top it up again. Fill pot there. This is just one of those cheap. In fact, I'll leave the picture. I might even put the picture up actually. Water block, but it's a copper base. It's got micro fins. This one doesn't have micro fins. This one's a thermatic, and it just has like channels going like up and down, up and down, up and down. Yeah. One thing I need to do, which I mentioned earlier, I'm going to try to cool these VRMs down, because if you notice, 42, 41, which is fine now, but if I start running the program, these get as hot as these ones, so probably 50, 60, which is still cool. But I'm going to see how the case flow goes, see how the air case keeps things cool, and I might tweak it by turning the fans up and down to suit. I can't turn that one up, but I can turn these three up and down, but I can't turn these three up and down unless I get it some sort of a variable resistor or something. Okay, so what I've done, guys, I've got the Heaven Bench up and running. As you can see, we had over 100 FPS. CPU is 63%, 93%, just virtually 100% on the GPU. It's been running for 20 minutes, and there's my temperatures. As you can see, 61. I've got an overclock as well. So you're looking at the line, it's going up a little bit, but back down. 60 now, it's actually going down, 61. 2000 megahertz on the overclock and the boost. You can see as standard, there's the boost, and I've got overclocked, and also the memory. There's just my fan speeds, which are about 1400, 1000, 1300, 1000. So the different fans. So it's running pretty sweet. What I've been doing is I've been experimenting with taking the glass off the front and the glass off the top. With the glass on, it's running a lot hotter. It's running like 8 to 9 degrees hotter, obviously because it can't suck air in quick enough and expel it quick enough. So taking the front off. Oh yeah, before I forget, smooth out the road. Before I forget, I did fix the coloured lights. These two were dimmer than that one, but they're okay now. I just changed the fan headers, and obviously what's happened I didn't know is the faster these run, so if you've got that one running slower, it goes dimmer because it's putting less voltage in, obviously. So this is running pretty sweet. It's gone up to 62, and it's been running for 20 odd minutes now, 25 minutes, and I've got the cover off the top. Really pleased with it so far, guys. You can see in there everything's running nice and sweet, and there's a nice airflow for the PSU at the bottom. You can actually feel it blowing out. Got this radiator at the back, and obviously the warm air. I can feel the warm air coming out. So these fans and that radiator is doing its trick. Bearing in mind where I'm at, it's 29 degrees ambient, so it's dropped down to 60 there again. Yeah, and still running away there, 190, 80, 90, 113 frames a second. Yeah, just thought I'd show you this, guys.